Hey guys, I'm just Joshin, and welcome back to Pokemon March Madness, aka Pokemon March Madness, aka March Pokemon Madness, etc. You guys are screaming at the camera right now, or you will be in about 10 minutes because you're going to be upset with the Pokemon I choose, but you're probably screaming. I guess it's not a camera for you, it's a camera for me. You're screaming at your phone slash tablet slash computer right now, and you are saying one of two things, maybe both. Number one, fix your freaking chair. Why is it always so far back? Your lumbar must be screaming out in pain every single night. You would be correct. It is. I have horrible posture, and I sit like literally like a dang dummy, like this, whenever I'm not recording something. We're down here, boys. It's horrible. The second thing you're screaming is, what the heck is even this? Where is your Twitch hoodie that you spent $50 on to prove that you're a Twitch streamer, even though when people ask you why you have a Twitch hoodie, you don't tell them that you have a Twitch channel because you're a little self-conscious about it. Where in the world is it? Why are you wearing this TB12 hoodie when he's might not even be the number 12 when he doesn't even play for New England anymore? Well, here's the thing. I've got good news and bad news about the Twitch hoodie. The bad news is we might be sans the Twitch hoodie for the foreseeable future. The good news is the foreseeable future is like 20 minutes because it's just in the dryer right now. I did a load of laundry, I had to clean it. I wear it literally so much, it's stinky. What is this video? Welcome back to Pokemon March Madness. For those who don't know what Pokemon March Madness is, Pokemon March Madness, go back in, this is Gen 6. What are you doing? 5 generations preceded this generation. Maybe this is your favorite, in which case, you know, I would say you're in the minority, but congratulations nonetheless. And I would also say you should still go back and watch the other ones, but welcome nonetheless. I appreciate you being here. What Pokemon March Madness is, in place of traditional March Madness, which of course was canceled, all along with all other sports, as well as all human contact and everything I enjoy and find, you know, any sort of fulfillment in life, was canceled because of freaking coronavirus, COVID-19, more colloquially known as perhaps, which is horrifying. It's very scary. I hope you guys, of course, as always, I say it every time, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're being smart. Stay the heck inside and wash your dang hands. If you have to leave to get groceries or something, be very safe while you're doing so. We can get rid of this dang thing together. It's just gonna take a little time, which is why I make each of these videos an hour long. Because if they're, well, I just found out yesterday from my boy Yeti, and also from looking at my average watch time, I think most of you guys just scroll to the end to see. You probably didn't even watch this part right now. Most of you go straight to the end to see who I picked, and that's totally fine. That's an understandable. They're long. But my goal, by making them an hour long, it's not actually the goal, I just talk, but by proxy, it's keeping you guys out of harm's way for a period of time, around an hour, which is great. We may have our first video today, I'm happy to say, that is less than 1 hour. Why do I say that? Well, it's Gen 6. Gen 6, aka the Kalos region. I almost didn't know this because here's total honesty time. Okay, let's be truthful first. Truthful, the Kalos region has one of the fewest amount of new Pokemon added to any Pokemon game ever. You can tell just by like the layout of this. This is a tiny bracket. That's a small bracket. They did not add many new Pokemon to this generation. That's one reason it may be short. The second reason it may be a little short, and this is truth, honesty, I'm sorry. This is the generation I am the least familiar with. To give you guys a little bit of history, I've been talking about my backstory with Pokemon like crazy over the course of these videos. Fell in love with it as a kid with Pokemon Red. I liked it as a kid with Pokemon Red. I fell in love with Pokemon Gold. I played Gen 1. I played Gen 2. I played Gen 3. I played Gen 4. I played Gen 5, both the first one and the sequels. Black and White and Black 2, White 2. Then Nintendo did something very fancy. They said, we're going 3D. The year is 2009. I don't know if that's probably, no, it might be 2009. I have no idea. The year is whatever. And we are introducing a Nintendo 3DS. Guess what? No longer can you play any of these games with your normal DS. You have to buy a new $200 Nintendo 3DS. And I didn't. I was a poor boy. I was getting ready. This probably happened in like this had to be like 2011, right? Because I feel like I was getting ready for college. and I went to college in 2013. And around the time, I just did not have the money, the funds. It might have been before that. I have no idea, I'll be honest. All I know is whether I'm a high schooler or whether I'm going to college, I didn't have a lot of money. Saving up to go to college, more important things, I never bought a 3DS. And because I never bought a 3DS, I never got the opportunity to play Pokemon X, nor Pokemon Y, nor Pokemon Z. Oh wait, that didn't exist. They never made one. Nor Omega Ruby, nor Alpha Sapphire. I never played those games. However, I did finally buy a 3DS about halfway through college when Pokemon Sun and Moon came out. Why? Because I started a YouTube channel. You're watching it right now. It was called Procrastination back in the day. I started the channel, I fell back in love with Pokemon. Not that I ever stopped loving it, I just didn't want to buy a new 3DS. I fell back in love doing several Nuzlocks of games from my childhood that I loved, and that prompted me to excuse me, to finally go back and buy a 3DS, for which we originally played Sun and Moon, but I later went back and got both Pokemon. I got Y. I like Yveltal better than Xerneas, sorry to say. And I bought Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, I believe, because I played Sapphire as a kid. Anyway, I went back and played them eventually. But I have this long backstory to say. I'm still gonna find a way to make it an hour because I don't shut up. I found a way to finally play these, but I've only done it a couple of times. I bet you the first time I ever played through Pokemon Y was on the channel, a Pokemon Y Wonderlock. That was my first time ever playing through the generation. I had never seen it before then. I didn't know anything about it before then. It was all a fresh experience. Very cool though. I probably watched a Let's Play, but I never played it. And since then, I'm gonna say I've played it one other time. So I have seen the Kalos region twice. One of the times, I was wonder trading away every Pokemon I got, so I did not get to become familiar with a lot of these guys. Now obviously we've got some recurring characters, a lot of them come back in Sun and Moon, they've come back in Sword and Shield, etc. My experience with Gen 6 is very sparse. I'm letting you know that going into this so that you're not shocked if I don't know any of these Pokemon's name. This is probably the most likely generation I forget some Pokemon names. And I'm sorry if I do. I'm gonna try my best not to. We will see what we can do. That's a long enough intro. This one will be sub-hour, I promise you that, 100%, especially if I, continue to talk about this intro. I'm just giving you a little backstory. My Kalos background, teeny tiny, little bit. We're gonna have some problems here. For example, this is a Carbink, which for the longest time I thought evolved into Diancie, because you're Rock Fairy, but you don't evolve into Diancie, and that makes literally no sense to me. There's gotta be some sort of missing link there, I don't know what happened, but you're just your own Pokemon, you don't evolve, you're a Carbink, and you are not a Bunnelby. You are the evolved form of Bunnelby, which is Diggersby. Oh, if you haven't watched the other ones, we're gonna go down the left side, we're gonna go down the right side, individual matchups at a time. I'm gonna tell you which Pokemon I prefer. This is gonna be a pretty cut and dry generation because I don't have a lot of those nostalgic memories with these Pokemon, so it's gonna be a very much like, I like this guy, I don't like that guy, this guy is cool. It's gonna be very cut and dry, and I'm sorry in advance for my shallow opinions during this one. I just don't have a lot of nostalgia rooted in this generation, so this one's gonna be a little rough, but we're doing every generation. By the way, link in the description below. You can fill out your own version of the bracket. Maybe you're a little bit more of a Kalos expert than me. You can fill out your own bracket, send it to me, Twitter, Discord, doesn't matter. I'll check them both. Anyway, Carbink, Diggersby. I gotta be honest, I don't like either of these two Pokemon. If you evolved into Diancie, you'd be a little cooler, Carbink, but you don't. Diggersby, Bunnelby's your early normal type, turns into a normal ground type. I kinda hate his hand ears. He's got a little bit of an Ambipom situation going on here where he's got appendages that are hands and they're too chunky. This man, maybe he makes my own forearm game look so weak that that's what I'm a little nervous about. I'm gonna give it to Carbink, even though I don't usually prefer types that don't evolve, Pokemon that don't evolve, I should say. I'm gonna give it to Carbink here. We have Vivillon, who evolves from Scatterbug and Spupa, just making sure my knowledge is there. And we have Hoopa, a Pokemon that I know basically nothing about. You are either Psychic Dark or Dark Ghost or Psychic Ghost. One of those combinations, I can't remember. And you got some hoops. And look, there's Hoopa, and then there's Hoopa Unbound, who looks like way more like a Yu-Gi-Oh creature than a Pokemon. You're fine nonetheless. This is an unpopular opinion probably, but I'm actually gonna go with Vivillon, the villain, whatever your name is. I'm gonna go with you because I really like, first of all, it's an early Pokemon you get, so any memories I do have associated with this game, probably gonna remember this Pokemon because you get it so early. And I also want to say the fact that there's so many different designs, this is no offense to Butterfree, this is no offense to Beautifly, this is no offense to whatever butterfly Pokemon they've introduced. This was the first one to really hit the mark for me. This is a really solid looking butterfly Pokemon, which I don't really love in real life, but it's fine. And all the different designs, very cool. Okay, we're gonna skip over these, of course, and we're gonna head back down to the farthest, to the outside, which is Avalugg, who evolves from Bergmite, and Malamar. For some reason, I remember the way you talk. Maybe I've seen an episode of the anime from this generation, which seems extremely unlikely, but I'm pretty sure you sound like Malamar. What's more likely is I've probably seen you on Twitter. Someone probably retweeted and was like, why does this Pokemon talk so stupid? And that's probably where I saw it. Despite the fact that you talk stupid, I am gonna give it to Malamar. Not for Malamar, but for Inkay. Inkay, cute as heck. Look, it's kind of annoying, but the turn your 3DS upside down while you're leveling up to evolve, it's gimmicky, it's annoying, it's pretty stupid. I kind of hate it like a whole bunch. But I like Inkay quite a bit. Inkay's cute. Bergmite and Avalugg, you don't do it for me, Mr. Glacier. You don't do it for me, and I'm sorry. Look, we're done with the left side. If your boy can't finish this in sub-hour, there's a problem with me. Okay. I should have mentioned this before because we did look at Carbink, who was a fairy type, but you just don't look like a fairy type to me. This is a fairy type. That's a belly drumming Slurpuff. Fairy type, of course, Gen 6. Two huge major contributions to the Pokemon world. Number one, the fairy typing. Brand new typing. First time added a new type since Gen 2, pretty nuts. The second, of course, is the EXP share. I'm kidding, everybody hates that. Megas. Megas are pretty massive. And you may notice there's no Megas on this list. So I will, well, I guess I should not, although there's no Pokemon here that got a Mega form, did they? Did they not give any Gen 6 Pokemon Mega forms? They introduced Megas and didn't give any Gen 6 Pokemon Megas. Look, I think Gen 6 gets a bad rap, even though, let's be honest, they added like 6 Pokemon. I think the Kalos region is actually pretty fun, and even though there's not a lot of new Pokemon, the changes they made were huge. Fairy typing goes back and changes a ton of old Pokemon into new typing, like Azumarill, who I love. A lot of old Pokemon got the fairy typing, which was cool. And you had Megas, which were really cool, even if I guess they only gave it to non-Gen 6 That's really strange to me. I didn't even realize that till just now, but that's fine. I think the Kalos region is really cool, and I think the team building aspect of Gen 6 is also very fun. You can get some power pretty early and you can build a really fun team. And the region's cool. There's a lot of different types of areas to go. Anyway, I'll gush about it later. Actually, I probably won't. All this to say, the fairy type is a great addition, but this little cupcake is horrendous. This little cupcake went to market. This little cupcake went wee all the way home. You're horrendous looking. And I even found, I was doing max raid battles in a Pokemon Sword and Shield, well, it's Pokemon Sword, playing the other day. I found a full odds. Well, I don't know if raids have, I think raids have a boosted shiny chance. Doesn't matter, I found a shiny Slurpuff, and your shiny is horrible. He goes from strawberry frosting to chocolate frosting, and it don't look like chocolate. Your shiny's gross, you're gross. Not a great representation of the fairy type, to be honest. We got a great representation of the dragon type here in Skrelp, aka Dragology. Poison Dragon, first time that type combination's ever been smacked together. And just so, it's like a weirdly, it looks like a dragon, but it's so strangely designed, so sleek compared to, like, so thin, I guess, and fragile compared to a lot of the other dragons that maybe you've grown to love over the years. I kind of respect you for it, though. That's the only one up here. Goodness gracious. And we've got this one down here where we have my pumpkin boy Gorgeist, who evolves from Pumpkaboo. And we have Barbaracle, who evolves from Binnacle. I'm gonna give it to Gorgeist. Grass Ghost, great combo. Although there is a Grass Ghost type in this generation, no spoilers, he's right there, who I think is better. But Gorgeist, you still get the job done. I like Ghost types. Not a huge Grass boy, but the combination saves it for me. Rock Water's been done. Has it? Yeah, Relicanth. Rock Water's been done. Maybe not particularly better, but you have too many hands. Sometimes I feel like when they're designing Pokemon, they're like, this is a little basic, what should we do? Give it some more hands. It works for Machamp, it worked for Machamp. It has not really worked for many Pokemon since Machamp. Stop putting hands on things. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we move over to the left. Back to the top left. This will be a little bit of a longer left section, although still relatively short, I feel like. We have Carbink and Vivillon. Look, I'm not biased against Pokemon who don't evolve, but they're certainly less exciting. There's something magical about the evolution process. You can have really solid Pokemon that don't evolve. Carbink is not one of them. Carbink desperately needs an evolution of some sort, which I thought Diancie was, but you need something to really separate you apart. I'm gonna give this one to Vivillon just purely on, I think the design's a little bit better, and I like the fact that you get some evolution there. It's nice stuff. All right, there's Diancie, who, tell me these two. It's a fairy rock type. It is a pointed bottom with pointed ears. This one's got blue crystals shoved in it with some wispy cotton up on top. This one has the wispy cotton, but it's got pink crystals. How are you two not related in some way? They probably are. There's some lore I'm missing out on here, but I can't believe you're different Pokemon. Anyway, I'm upset by this right here because of the Gen, and I do think there are really good Gen 6 Pokemon, even though they didn't add a ton. It's a little hit or miss, but the ones that hit, they hit. And I would say that both of these Pokemon hit extremely hard for me. We have Clawitzer, who's like, he's a shrimp but he's a gun. He's a gun shrimp. That's a cool combination of two things that you wouldn't really think to put together in any other thing. It's a shrimp with a massive lobster claw that shoots goop at you. Well, not goop, water. I guess water's kind of goopy, I have no idea. And then you have like the literal Tyrannosaurus Rex that we've been asking for many years. Gen 6, this might be egregious, I personally don't think so. It's the best fossil Pokemon in any generation. I don't care. They introduced fossils in Gen 1, they added more in Gen 3, then some in Gen 4, then some in Gen 5. Gen 5 is probably number 2 for me, then Gen 1, then Gen 3, then Gen 4. Did Gen 8 introduce new Pokemon? We don't talk about Gen 8's fossil Pokemon. Anyway, sorry, Draco, whatever your name is, water boy. Dracovish. This is the best fossil in any game, bar none. It's a great looking fossil. Amora? Again, the names will slip me a little bit. Is so darn elegant as well. Unfortunate typing combo of ice and rock, which makes you weak to literally everything. I could come up and flick an Amora or an Aurora, and you would probably faint, but that's okay. Dragon Rock is just such a cool type combination. Unfortunately, I gotta give it to Tyrantrum here, whose name I literally forgot until just this very moment, which is why I stalled so long. I gotta give it to Tyrantrum. Tyrunt is extremely cute. Tyrantrum, fearsome, reminds me of the dinosaur transformation from Banjo-Tooie, where you could be, depending on the size of Humbawumba's wigwam, you can either be baby dino or big dino. Both Tyrannosaurus Rexes, obviously. And I do feel like Clawitzer has been done dirty here. Clawitzer should definitely be making it farther than Vivillon, but you know, I didn't make the bracket, so I can't help you there. Okay, Diancie, who for some reason is not related to Carbink, you will not be making it to the next round. Who will be making it to the next round is Talonflame. I love the fire type so much. They give you an early bird Pokemon, a fletchling, that eventually gains the fire typing. Just a great combination. Fire flying, obviously everybody stands Charizard. This is not only is it a great typing combo, it's fun to use, it hits really hard, in the design, I don't know what you are. Maybe like you're some sort of like raptor or hawk. I don't know, probably a hawk or a falcon maybe, I don't know. Just a majestic. I like birds quite a bit. It's a strange sentence to say, unless you're at the zoo, I guess. But I really enjoy birds of all shapes and sizes. Some really, really strong starter bird Pokemon. Talonflame has to be in my conversation for at least top 3. I'm not going to say you're the best one because there's some really good ones out there, but gotta have some conversation about Talonflame being number 1. Ooh, our first starter. Let me go ahead and throw out there that I don't think the starter Pokemon in Gen 5, let me rephrase. I think the starter Pokemon in Gen 5 are pretty strong. There's some really good starters. Froakie, Chespin, Fennekin. I think they're really solid starters. Basic Pokemon. It's their evolutions I tend to have issues with. Chespin was the first Pokemon I chose in my first ever journey, my first ever real playthrough of Pokemon Y. I chose Chespin. I like Chespin the best, which is weird because I'd never used a grass type before, but something about Chespin I really liked. Grass fighting was a pretty cool typing, all things considered. I liked when he evolved into Quilladin. I don't love Chestnut. I hate to say it, I don't love Chestnut. I don't know what it is. Something about the design rubs me a little bit the wrong way. Maybe a little bit of an Emboar situation here where it's a victim of over design. Like if you would have kept this a more basic concept of just like Quilladin but bigger and buffer, maybe you could have done something here, but too many different colors, too many claws, plus spikes, plus sharp teeth, plus fur, it's got too much going on at the same time. And it kind of freaks me out. Now the exact opposite of that I would say is Pyroar. Pyroar and Litleo is literally just, it's a lie. and you even have a male and female differentiation here, which is very noticeable, which I think is cool. But you have the male with the big mane and the female without the big mane. This is more my style of Pokemon design, which is why it will be advancing to the next round. I like simpler Pokemon designs. Pyroar does this extremely well. Chestnut does not do this extremely well. I mean, it's a Veltal. This one's not... I know a lot of people like Klefki. I'm sorry. I talked about this during Gen 5. Inanimate object Pokemon. I don't necessarily have a vendetta against. I prefer when the inanimate object Pokemon is a ghost type. Like a Chandelure or like a Palossand. Because then you can be like, oh, the ghost spirit is haunting this entity and bringing it to life. Because that's what ghosts do, theoretically. You are a literal keychain. You're just a keychain, and you're Steel Fairy. I get the Steel. You probably should have been Steel Ghost. Which, does that type even exist? That sounds kind of busted. Steel Ghost? I'm sure it does. You should probably have been a Steel Ghost type. Maybe I would have liked you more. As you stand, not so much. Yveltal, I'm not big into legendaries. You guys know that. I'm not huge into legendaries. Yveltal, very cool. Extremely cool. What's the name of your Obsidian Wing? I believe is the name of your special move. Oh, what a great name. Beautiful animation from what I remember. It does a ton of damage and it takes your HP too. It's busted. And you look really cool. You're like a literal demon bird. And I like you. We have the other legendary, which is Xerneas, versus this poodle Pokemon whose name is Furfrou. Okay, I'm gonna be a hypocrite here. I'm gonna pick Xerneas. I'm a hypocrite because I gave Vivillon props earlier for having a lot of many different colors options to choose from, and you can do the same with Furfrou. You got all these different haircuts you can give your Furfrou. Here's the difference. Pretty much like every single one of Vivillon's color palettes looks really, really good and fitting. I think just about every single one of Furfrou's designs is disgusting and ugly. I'm sorry, it's rude. I don't mean to be so mean. I love doggos, but I do not like any of the color palette swaps of this thing. I'd rather just keep it this normal Furfrou, and even then it doesn't evolve, so I'm not super into it. Brother, can you hear me? So I told you Gen 6 has probably the strongest of all fossil Pokemon, and I mean it. 100% I mean it. Tyrantrum is the strongest, but also very good is my Brontosaurus boy here, Amara, aka, I think your name's actually Auroras, I'm sorry. As much as I love you, whereas Slurpuff is the fairy type done extremely horribly wrong, Sylveon is the fairy type done extremely not horribly well. Wait, horribly well? It's really good. It's a great design. Soft spot for Eevee, obviously. A lot of memories hooked up with Eevee, so instantly I'm gonna like this Pokemon. Mostly I'm just choosing it because I know that your name is Sylveon, and I don't know if your name is Amora or Auroras or whatever your name is. And to stop making myself look like a dummy, we're just gonna go ahead and commit to Sylveon. That's not actually the reason. I do like Sylveon better as a Pokemon, so I'm choosing it. Goomy versus it's Goodra, not Goomy, you dummy. And also Goodra wins here. Again, some interesting dragon types coming out of Gen 6, I must say. Not just like a little bit Dragonite-ish in qualities in terms of general body shape. A little drippier than Dragonite, 100% no doubt. And I'm not saying he's swagged out in some gold chains or anything. He's a little bit drippier because he literally secretes goo from his body. His name is Goodra. But looks like such a gentle dragon compared to many of the dragons of old that are just like, bah, 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 hit everything really hard. Oh, dummy, Go Steel exists, it's right here. Go Steel exists and it's a great Pokemon. Malamar, you won last round because you have Inkay. Inkay is not strong enough to take on the cuteness that is Goomy and Sliggoo and Goodra. So Goodra's gonna win that round. Up to the top right we go, and we have a powerful matchup, ladies and gentlemen. This was seeded extremely strangely. That's what she said. Yeah, whatever you want to use. Poison Dragon type, Dragalge. Dark Fighting type, Pangoro. I love Dark Fighting type. My boy Scrafty in Gen 5, he didn't make it nearly far enough. Going back and watching that video, he probably should have made it maybe a little bit farther than I let him go initially. It's a nice type combo. You get destroyed by the fairy type, unfortunately, which made you not very usable in this generation because they really wanted to shove the fairy type in your face, being like, look at this new type. However, I have loved using this thing in future generations. This is, it's got Pyroar syndrome. It is, I'm not gonna say under-designed, it's perfectly designed. It's simple. What is it supposed to be? You have a baby panda bear, and now you have a big punchy panda bear that will rip anything in shreds. Pancham might be in my top 10 cutest Pokemon of any generation. Don't at me. Pancham extremely cute, and he turns into this behemoth. He didn't even need the awkward looking middle evolution. He went straight from cute to beastly. I appreciate it. Sorry, Dragalge, you're the first dragon type to fall. Volcanion, Go-Goat. Or as I called him, Gogurt. For a long time, I thought your name was Gogurt. I thought the YoPlay Corporation paid for a lot of sponsorship for you to be in the game. Turns out your name is Go-Goat, which makes a whole lot more sense. I'm also going to choose you, Go-Goat. Not much of a grass boy. I think this is a very solid designed grass type. You guys know I don't love legendaries too much, or mythicals. Sorry, this is a mythical. You know I don't love mythicals that much because I typically don't get to use them. I don't form a lot of meaningful connections with them because I never get to see them. Water Fire is a super cool type combination. I'm glad it finally came to pass, but I don't know what you are. You're like the pyramid. Your body's a pyramid. Your body is a pyramid. That was way off key, I'm sorry. Your body's a pyramid. You have a donut coming out of the bottom of you for flotation, perhaps. I have no idea. Except these are the things that shoot water. I don't know what you are. You're kind of a mess, to be honest. Cool typing, very powerful. Kind of a mess design-wise. It's just a goat. It's just a goat. It's just Tom Brady. Just Tom Brady, quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's fine. Okay. Next we have Greninja. And Aromatisse, who I think is an ugly Pokemon. I'm sorry to say it. You and Slurpuff essentially one and the same to me. They introduced these fairy types and then they made them both so unappealing to the eye, in my personal opinion. You may have a different opinion. I find them both extremely unappealing to the eye. I generally don't like fairy types almost at all. There are very few fairy types I find myself liking. I like Togekiss, I like Azumarill. You may notice most of them are Pokemon that got the fairy type, not fairy types that were introduced. I said that I really like all the starters, but I hate their evolutions. Greninja is the exception to that rule. Greninja is a solid evolution. He's in Smash, so you automatically get a little bit at... If Banjo-Kazooie can't be in these, then same with Dinosaur, you get Banjo-Kazooie points, and Greninja, you get some Banjo-Kazooie points because you're in Smash as Banjo-Kazooie is. That's not actually my metric, but here we are. Another fairy type. We got a Florges. And we have a Zygarde. You're gonna think okay. Zygarde wins, but let me talk. Hold on, before you type that comment. I don't like fairy types. I'm sorry. I don't like fairy types. However, I will concede this is a fairy type done very well. It's a good looking fairy type. The only thing that is baffling to my mind personally is why you're not part grass. I have no... It's not like there was another grass fairy type in this generation that they were like, oh, we don't want to step on that grass fairy type's toes, so we're gonna make you just pure fairy. You even learned Vine Whip. You learned several grass type moves. I have no idea why they didn't slap the grass typing on you. I feel like I'd like you more if you were grass fairy. Maybe they thought that type combo would be busted, but I don't know why. Cannot think of a single reason why that would be busted. I don't know why they didn't make you grass fairy. You being just plain fairy takes a bit away. I'm putting Zygarde forward, not for slug form, not for Transformer Megatron form. I'm putting him past purely for Tiny Doggo form. 10%, I believe it is. 10% Zygarde is a short Greyhound-esque dog. He's a great boy. He's not the best boy, that's Arcanine, but he's a really good boy. You get to advance this round. Dedenne versus Heliolisk. I'll be honest, it's Heliolisk and it's not particularly close. You're a Pikachu clone. You're cute. You're like one of the cuter Pikachu clones they've ever done, save for maybe Pachirisu, who I like a little bit better. You're a really, really cute Pikachu clone. I think you have the fairy type, which is like cool, great, cool. Like that's cool for you. I'm proud of you there. I like my lizard boy Heliolisk here quite a bit. Remember that dinosaur in Jurassic Park that kills the chunky guy who runs away from the lab stealing thing? It's like the great frilled neck lizard or whatever dinosaur. Well, you kind of remind me of that, but less horrifying, and I appreciate you for it. Delphox. My dude Delphox. I so wish, I mean, I could say so many things about you, and pretty much all of them would center around a single theme, which is wasted potential. I'm not even lying. I'm looking at you directly in the eyes if you look at the camera right now. Your phone / tablet / computer screen, TV, whatever you're watching on. I think Fennekin, wait for it, is the... I want to choose the words carefully. I almost said single best designed starter Pokemon. Probably not true. Cutest though? I think it might be the single cutest starter Pokemon. Just Fennekin. Do not include Braixen. Do not include Delphox. If you just look at Fennekin, a little Firefox. What browser are you watching this on, kiddos? He's a little Firefox. And it's one of the cutest Pokemon ever created. It's just ridiculous. When I think of the Pokemon I would love to own in real life, a Fennekin would be on the list because it's so cute. And all I can think of when I see your evolutions is what happened. The amount of different routes you could have gone with a Pokemon like that. And instead you go for this strange bipedal fox with... He's got ear hair. He's got hair just Einsteining out of his ears. I dislike you quite a bit, and I love my boy Hawlucha. So this isn't like Hawlucha's winning because I hate you so much. Hawlucha's winning because it's Hawlucha, and I love the combination of fighting, flying type, and also used to watch a show when I was a kid called Mucha Lucha. It was, I don't really remember what it was about, to be honest, but I remember it was like a wrestling school, and these kids wore masks, and they would do their signature moves. Everyone had a signature move. Pretty sure it only lasted like one season, but I remember it, and it got me interested in luchadores, so a luchadore Pokemon is pretty cool, in my personal opinion. This makes me mad. There are, I mean, these are great Pokemon. These are both great Pokemon. I'm just gonna be honest. Both of these would probably be, if I just gave you a list of my favorite Gen 6 Pokemon, I think both of these would be in the top 8. Unfortunately, one of them's not gonna make the top 16. It's a darn shame. We've got the Ghost Steel type, who I completely forgot about earlier, which is Aegislash. And we've got Noivern. Two of the cleanest shinies in the game, in any game, do not at me. Two wonderfully clean shinies. We have like the Arthurian legend here. We've got the dragon, and then we've got Excalibur, the sword that's slain him. Again, I know I just ripped on Klefki for being an inanimate object, and this is literally just a sword holding a shield. But he's a ghost type, so, you know, it doesn't really make sense, but it kind of makes a little bit more sense. Again, both would probably end up being in my top 8, at least top 10. But, you know, choices have to be made. And unfortunately, Noivern is Noibat, Noivern, both of them extremely clean, big ol' ears, adorable. It's a bat Pokemon done extremely well, which they've done before. Crobat's done pretty well, but then you got things like Swoobat in there that no thank you. It's a bat Pokemon done extremely well. It's a dragon. It's a quintessential dragon. Whereas Goodra is more of your laid-back, easygoing dragon. That's a dragon's dragon. That's a big boy's dragon, and I appreciate it. I'm sorry to my boy Excalibur over here, aka Aegislash. You should have made it farther, but you're not going to. I already spoiled the answer to this one beforehand when I picked Gourgeist because I didn't realize that Trevenant was peeking around the corner. This is the better grass ghost type of this generation. And it's not particularly close, to be honest. It's a really well done Pokemon. I like the Haunted Tree quite a bit. Phantump, again, one of the cleanest shinies in the entire world. Such a solid shiny. The little leaves turn into that like crimson red color. Ooh, baby! It's a good Pokemon. Back to the top left. All right, Vivillon. You've made it too far. I'm sorry. You had some pretty easy competition up here. You will not be beating my Banjo-Kazooie boy, Banjo-Tooie. You will not be beating my boy Tyrantrum. He's the best fossil Pokemon in any game out there. Don't at me. You can at me if you want to. That's why I told you to fill out your own and then at me on Twitter, literally. So actually you can at me if you want to. It's Tyrantrum. Yikes. These two Pokemon do the same thing extremely well. They're fire types. That's not what I was gonna go for. They are pretty simple. They are an animal plus the fire type, and that's it. This is a fiery falcon. This is a fiery tiger, which is actually a lion. Fiery lion, fiery bird. And this is essentially going to come down, I hate to say it, to which of these animals in real life do I like more? Probably shouldn't factor that in. Do I like falcons better? Do I like lions better? First of all, probably both of my top 5 favorite animals, so this is a really tough decision. However, I'm gonna have to give it to the falcon. I'm gonna give it to Talonflame, who might not be a falcon, you might be a hawk. You're a bird of prey of some sort. Whatever bird of prey you are, I really, really like. Your design, again, you do the same thing very well. Simple designs, sleek designs, fire type. I think Talonflame's ever so slightly sleeker, if that's allowed. I've never played through Pokemon X. I'm a pretty partial judge coming into this one, hate to say it. You're supposed to be an impartial judge. I'm partial, and I'm partial because I have played only Y. And I played Y because I knew these two Pokemon existed, and I knew I didn't like the fairy type. And you're a fairy type. Your design is very good. You're a well-designed fairy type. This is a demon bird. This is a bird from the depths of hell itself. And I appreciate Yveltal, even if I can't really pronounce your name very well. I think it's Yveltal. I appreciate you a little bit more. Oh, baby! Fairy type, super effective against Dragon. But Goodra, such a high special defense stat, he could probably stand up to it. Just kidding, this thing hits like a truck. Of these two, Look, you hate to see it. I don't like the fairy type. I'm sorry. Sylveon's up there as one of my favorite fairy types. The dragon type's just a little bit cooler. I have very fond memories of this. I've talked about the UPA before. Very fond memories of my boy Gudra here, coming in clutch against a battle against my boy Mjar. Go back and watch the battle if you want to. Probably don't. I think my beard was disgustingly long and gross to look at, which it probably will be by the end of this quarantine as well, by the way, so prepare for that. It's gonna be bad. I got fond memories with Gudra. I just don't have his name with Sylveon. Hate to say it. Goat, I do not have very many fond memories with you either. Hate to say it. Not a grass boy. Not a grass boy. That's pretty much it. Pangoro, on the other hand, just fantastic design. It does what it needs to do well. And I appreciate that in a Pokemon. You didn't try to shove all these extra patterns and designs and colors where they didn't need to be. He's black and white. He's got a little stick in his mouth. Quintessential Pokemon. Greninja, who I've pronounced weirdly for some reason, and Zygarde. I'm factoring only Doggo Zygarde in, hate to say it, don't love the other forms. And you know what? Because I don't love the other forms, I feel like I have to actually hold that against you as a Pokemon. No offense. Megatron, Zygarde. Megatron, is that a Power Ranger? That's a Transformer, you big dummy. Okay, well, whatever. Whatever you want to compare it to. Large man, 100% form Zygarde. He's cool. Slug Zygarde, take it or leave it. Doggo's the best one. But Greninja's just like 100% great. Like everything about Greninja is really solid. 100% of it, not just 10%. You gotta compare those percentages, my friends. This makes me so mad. I mean, I'm really, really mad here. You can't see it. Fuming. Steam coming out of my ears. I'm pretty mad about this. I talked earlier about how Aegislash and Noivern could pretty easily be both in my top 10. These, I can tell you just straight up, no doubt in my mind, are both in my top 5 of this generation. I would take either one of the Pokemon that are left, I would take either one of them, because we're about to go into the top 8, and I would take either one of them over Gudra. I would take it over Yveltal. I would take it over Greninja. That's 3 gone right there of the top 8, both in the top 5, maybe top 6. It's close. So it upsets me that I'm gonna have to, one of them's not gonna make it through the top 8. The seeding on this bracket, you know, maybe not it's not my choice. I could have made my own bracket with my own seeding if I wanted to, but then I like to go into these blind, because then I would be like, well, these are my top 8 favorites, so I'm gonna put them all there. Well, then they're all just gonna make it to the end, because they're my favorite. So I need an impartial person to create this. And they've unfortunately created this ridiculously tough matchup for me, which makes me mad. I'm gonna be hypocritical again. The same thing that I got on Carbink for, I'm gonna praise Hawlucha for. Hawlucha does not evolve. It has no evolutions. It has no pre-evolutions. It doesn't have anything of the sort. It is just a Hawlucha, everything about it. You lose the magicness of the evolution, but it is almost such a perfect Pokemon in and of itself that helps it. The problem with a Pokemon like Carbink is it needs something. It exists, but it doesn't necessarily do anything particularly well. It needs that evolution to really take it to the next stage. If Heliolisk was just a Helioptile, it would be very cute, do not get me wrong, but it needs Heliolisk to really take it to the next level. Hawlucha does not need that. In my personal opinion, Hawlucha does not need that. It is the perfect embodiment of itself. This video is going to be an hour, isn't it? I hate myself. Okay, Noivern Trevenant. Noivern Trevenant. This is also a really tough matchup. It's not quite as tough as this one. This one was really tough. You guys are both around, probably around number 5 to be like, both of these Pokemon could pretty easily, they could be 5 and 6, they could be 6 and 7, they could be 4 and 5, like they're really close together in terms of my top 10 of this region. I'm going purely based on gut here, which by the way, once we reach the top 8, which we're about to, it's pretty much going to be all gut decisions, because I could spend so much time swaying myself one way or the other and waste all of your time and make no progress that I just have to trust my gut. A battle of such good shinies as well. I gotta give it to Trevenant. I like the ghost type too much. The ghost type's extremely cool. I think this Pokemon's done really well. I'm just like really hypocritical today. I got on Binnacle because they added hands to something and I said stop adding hands. And what they do between Phantump and Trevenant, they added hands. But he didn't have any hands before, so it made a little bit more sense in my personal opinion. Binnacle was hands and then Barbaracle was more hands with like quadruple the number of hands basically. You needed some hands. So that was a nice addition. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the top 8 with 15 minutes left. I think we may have our first sub-hour video. Now, I could take long pauses. Could be a big old dummy. I could realize that I'm not recording. Just kidding, I'm recording. Fantastic. I could do a lot of things to slow this process down and make it be an hour-long video. But why don't we just celebrate the fact that we're going to have a sub-hour video by taking a nice 10-minute moment of silence to... I'm kidding. Okay, let's get back into it. Get back into it with a tough matchup. I'm going based off gut. I told you this was going to happen. It's too close a matchup. These two Pokemon are fantastic. Simple-ish designs, maybe a little complex on the Tyrantrum with his random little cape, whatever fancy article of clothing you're wearing. Talonflame keeps it simpler. Allow me to continue being a big old dumb hypocrite and give it to Tyrantrum, even though I've been gushing about the simple designs of Pokemon like Talonflame or Pyro or Pangoro. I still think Tyrantrum at its core is a very simple design. It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's a rock dragon type Tyrannosaurus Rex. What else do you need? Yeah, he's got a couple frills and accoutrement, but they don't negatively impact him in my personal opinion, to the point of a Pokemon like Chestnut where it's like, pick one thing. What do you do? What does Tyrantrum do? He bees a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is not correct English. And I apologize. Okay. Yeah, like this really upsets me. This upsets me quite a bit because I think Helioptile is a better Pokemon than both of these. But Helioptile's gone, so unfortunately, you know, we can't do anything about it. We have to choose between Yveltal and Goodra, and based purely off of gut reaction and gut reaction alone, I'm going Yveltal. You guys know I don't love legendary Pokemon, although Dialga did win my Gen 4 bracket, which is a little suspect now that I start thinking about it. I don't love them. This is like the big daddy of legendary Pokemon. It's designed extremely well. Goodra is too. Goodra's a really solid Pokemon in its own right. Look, original Procrastination colors were black and red. And the color combination is fantastic in and of itself. Maybe that's my angsty inner middle school years, My Chemical Romance coming out, bursting out of my chest like Alien at this current moment. But I like you a little bit better. Purple's a great color. That's a great color combination. Brother, can you hear me? Yeah, this is tough now. It wasn't tough for a while, but it's tough now. My gut reaction, just looking at the two. You're in Smash Brothers. You should be in Smash Brothers. Pangoro should be in Smash Brothers, 100%. He hits harder than all of them. No, he can't throw the fancy water shurikens. I'm not gonna say I don't like Greninja because he gets... I love Greninja. It's the best starter for sure in that generation. I'm not gonna say I dislike him because he gets so much love with Ash Greninja and stuff like that. But, you know, I do think it's good to be put in your place every now and again. And a Pokemon that I think deserves a little bit more love is a Pangoro. I'm gonna put Pangoro through. I like both of these Pokemon better than either of these two Pokemon. So once again, it bothers me that Yveltal is gonna make it through. And I gotta send one of these boys to the Shadow Realm. I'll be 100, I'm throwing up. I'll be 100% honest. I like Helioptile better than Trevenant, so by law, I have to choose Hawlucha because Hawlucha beat Helioptile. And if I like Heliolisk, I should say, if I like Heliolisk more than I like, you think if I like the Pokemon, I would know its name. If I like Heliolisk more than I like you, and Heliolisk lost, I have to go with Hawlucha. Just such a good poke. Flying Press. Is that the only move that has 2 types? Busted! Straight busted! What a great Pokemon. I love that Pokemon. Like a lot. Okay. We're down to the final 4, ladies and gentlemen. It's gone maybe not as quick as I would have thought. I definitely slowed down, which is not great. Probably should have just cranked this bad boy out in 30 minutes, but here we are. It's Tyrantrum. In the battle of Tyrantrum versus Yveltal, it's Tyrantrum. Why? Because I like Talonflame better than I like Yveltal. So, by the same rule I just explained down here, Hawlucha style, Tyrantrum beat Talonflame, so therefore Tyrantrum has to beat you. I'm sorry, you made it really far. I gotta give you credit. Granted, your seeding, pretty generous. You made it pretty far, Yveltal. You're maybe like my 2nd or 3rd favorite legendary ever. I don't know, I like Raikou quite a bit. Maybe my 2nd or 3rd favorite legendary ever. I don't know that you'd crack the top 5 of my entire Pokemon of this generation. There's some other ones that got sent to the Shadow Realm that I'm upset about. But for the left side, ladies and gentlemen, Tyrantrum is going to be our superhero baby. I can be your hero, baby. And on the right side, we have the Battle of Behemoths. On the right side, we have the Battle of Behemoth. It's extremely tough. They're both fighting types. One is dark, one is flying. This song doesn't rhyme, but not all songs have to rhyme. Don't you know? Didn't your parents tell you that? You know what else they told me? They told me the better Pokemon of these 2 is Hawlucha. Your parents did not tell me that, unless I call my brain your parents. I guess like it's like a your mama joke by proxy. I have no idea. My brain is telling me, well, actually not my brain at all. It's my gut, which is down here, not up here, down here. My gut. Can you see it? That's a gut. That's actually like a diaphragm. The gut is a little lower. Sorry, I failed anatomy. I never took an anatomy class in high school. Didn't have to. Didn't want to cut open a frog. Pangoro, you do what you do extremely well. Pancham, I'm taking you into consideration as well. That's a darn close battle here. To be honest, all 3, not even kidding. These 3 Pokemon right here, Tyrantrum, Hawlucha, Pangoro, might be my top 3 of this entire generation. Heliolisk makes a big push as like a possible top 3 as well, maybe 4, and then Trevenant and Noivern are pretty close in there as well. These are probably my top 3, 1, 2, 3. So like it's real tough for me to have to send one of the, it could just as easily be, this final battle could just as easily be Tyrantrum, well it couldn't be Tyrantrum Pangoro, or it would be, but it could just as easily be Pangoro Hawlucha. It could be, that's pretty much the only other way to do this, I guess. Okay, anyway, they're all really good is what I'm saying. Which I think answers my final question, by the way. Welcome to the finals, by the way. The final 2. On the left side, we have Tyrantrum, the rock dragon type. On the right side, we have Hawlucha, the flying fighting type. And I think when I was just babbling there, which I often do, I think I just answered my own question. Because as I was going around these other possibilities, I said, well, it can't be Pangoro Tyrantrum because Hawlucha beat it. So there's no way that it should do these, which means it has to be one of these 2. And then I thought about, well, what if it was Pangoro Tyrantrum, which it couldn't have been because Hawlucha is here. And my answer was Pangoro would have beaten Tyrantrum, which means we would be in the exact same spot we just were, which is Hawlucha Pangoro. And ladies and gentlemen, we already know the winner of this one. It's Hawlucha. Hawlucha, the Pokemon that doesn't evolve. Can you imagine a baby Hawlucha? That has to exist, right? Okay, well, I would look it up, but unfortunately I'm doing a screen capture, so you'd see all my search history, and that's a little monk-ass in my personal opinion. So I'll check it later. I'm sure a fan out there has done a fan art of a baby Hawlucha. That might actually break the scale for the cutest, coolest thing of all time. If you had like a Rufflet Braviary, but a baby Hawlucha plus, ooh, with a little mask. Ah! Draw it if you haven't already. Someone, if you're watching this, please. Ladies and gentlemen, with definitive proof, I can say 2 things. Number 1, we completed our first ever bracket challenge in sub 1 hour. And this probably could have been like 30 minutes. I really talked a lot more than I needed to for a generation I know nothing about to make it nearly there. But we are still sub-hour, and that makes me very happy. That's the first thing. The second thing, I can now say definitively, without a doubt, my number one, and not just my number one, the best Gen 6 Pokemon, at me or don't at me, is Hawlucha. Thank you guys for watching. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Please let me know in the comments down below. You can also, of course, fill out your own bracket. Fill out your own bracket. Get your own results. Save those results either by commenting down here and clicking the save download button, or you can share it somehow. I don't remember how to share it. There's a way to. Ask my boy Yeti and my boy Not So Livid. They keep sharing their completed ones with me. You can fill it out and you can save it, you can name it, and then you can share it that way. Tweet it at me. Put it in the Discord. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna get out of here because we're sub-hour and I'm happy about it. Next time, is this going live on Friday? Probably. Yeah. This will go live on Friday. On Monday, we take a trip down to the beautiful Alola region, which I know a little bit better. Will Alolan forms be in the Alola? I have no idea. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get to it. You can't take a bridge to the Alola region. It's too far out. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please consider showing support for liking, commenting, subscribing. Of course, why have I stopped saying share with your grandmother? I gotta bring that back. Share with your grandmother as always. She probably misses March Madness just as much as I do. I don't watch basketball. But with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on Monday. Oh, by the way, go watch yesterday's episode of the Pokemon Gold and Silver Soul Link. I caught a shiny. Go watch it. Spoiler alert. I'm saying spoiler because I need you to vote. Go to my Twitter, vote on the thing that's there. There's a thing that's there you should vote on. Maybe it'll be there tomorrow. I don't know. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.